वक्रतुण्ड महाकाय सूर्यकोटिसमप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणी विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा। गुरवे सर्वलोकानां भिषजे भवरोगिणां निधये सर्वविद्यानां दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। नारायणं पद्मभुवं वसिष्ठं शक्तिं च तत्पुत्रपराशरं च व्यासं शुकं गौडपदं महान्तं गोविन्दयोगीन्द्रमथास्य शिष्यम् श्रीशङ्कराचार्यमथास्य पद्मपादं च हस्तामलकं च शिष्यम् तं तोटकं वार्तिककारमन्यान् अस्मद्गुरून् सन्ततमानतोऽस्मि। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानामालयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। अपारकरुणा सिन्धुं ज्ञानदं शान्तरूपिणं श्रीचन्द्रशेखरगुरुं प्रणमामि मुदान्वहम्। यत्कृपालेशमात्रेण पुमान् पूर्णः प्रजायते तं वन्दे ब्रह्मविद्धुर्यं सद्गुरुं चन्द्रशेखरम्। साक्षात्कृतं दयानन्दं परमार्थस्वरूपिणं तत्त्वज्ञानप्रशास्तारं प्रणतोऽस्मि परं पदम्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। सूत्रार्थो वर्ण्यते यत्र वाक्यैः सूत्रानुकारिभिः
सूत्रार्थो वर्ण्यते यत्र वाक्ये सूत्रानुकारिभिः
स्वपदानि च वर्ण्यन्ते भाष्यं भाष्यविदो विदुः।
स्वपदानि च वर्ण्यन्ते भाष्यं भाष्यविदो विदुः।
ॐ आप्यायन्तु ममाङ्गानि
आप्यायन्तु ममाङ्गानि
वाक्प्राणश्चक्षुश्रोत्रमथो बलमिन्द्रियाणि च सर्वाणि
वाक्प्राणश्चक्षुश्रोत्रमथोबलमिन्द्रियाणि च सर्वाणि
सर्वं ब्रह्मोपनिषदम्
ब्रह्मोपनिषदम्
माहं ब्रह्म निराकुर्याम्
माहं ब्रह्म निराकुर्याम्
मा ब्रह्म निराकरोत्
मा ब्रह्म निराकरोत्।
अनिराकरणमस्त्वनिराकरणं मे अस्तु
अनिराकरणमस्त्वनिराकरणं मे अस्तु।
तदात्मनि निरतेय उपनिषत्सु धर्मास्ते मयि सन्तो ते मयि सन्तु।
तदात्मनिरतेय उपनिषत्सु धर्मास्ते मयि सन्तु ते मयि सन्तु।
ॐ शान्तः शान्तः शान्तिः।
ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः।
अविज्ञातं विजानतामिति अवधृतम्।
अविज्ञातं विजानताम् इति अवधृतम्।
यदि ब्रह्म अत्यन्तम् एव अविज्ञातम्,
यदि ब्रह्म अत्यन्तम् एव अविज्ञातम्
लौकिकानां ब्रह्मविदां च अविशेषः प्राप्तः।
लौकिकानां ब्रह्मविदां च अविशेषः प्राप्तः।
अविज्ञातं विजानताम् इति च परस्परविरुद्धम्।
अविज्ञातं विजानताम् इति च परस्परविरुद्धम्।
कथं तु तद्ब्रह्म सम्यक् विदितं भवति इति।
कथं तु तद्ब्रह्म सम्यग् विदितं भवति इति
एवम् अर्थम् आह।
एवम् अर्थम् आह।
प्रतिबोधविदितं मतम् अमृतत्वं हि विन्दते।
प्रतिबोधविदितं मतम् अमृतत्वं हि विन्दते।
आत्मना विन्दते वीर्यं विद्यया विन्दते मृतम्।
आत्मना विन्दते वीर्यं विद्यया विन्दते अमृतम्।
स्पष्टम् एव, we have seen many classes of meaning. लौकिकानां ब्रह्मविदां च विशेषप्राप्तः यदि ब्रह्म अत्यन्तम् अविज्ञातं भवति। विजानताम् अविज्ञातं विजानताम् विजानताम् अविज्ञानताम् इति परस्परविरुद्धम्। अतः कथं ब्रह्म तद्ब्रह्म सम्यक् भवति इति पृच्छेत् तदर्थं मन्त्ररूपेण उपनिषत् आह प्रतिबोधविदितं मतम् इति. It's simple Sanskritam itself like English now. We have repeatedly read प्रतिबोधविदितं
विबोधविदितम्
बोधं बोधं प्रतिविदितं
बोधं बोधं प्रतिविदितम्
बोधशब्देन बौद्धाः प्रत्ययाः उच्यन्ते।
बोधशब्देन
बोधशब्देन बौद्धाः प्रत्ययाः उच्यन्ते।
सर्वे प्रत्ययाः विषयी भवन्ति यस्य सः आत्मा।
सर्वे
सर्वे प्रत्ययाः विषयी भवन्ति तस्य स आत्मा।
सर्वबोधान् प्रति बुध्यते।
सर्वबोधान् प्रतिबुध्यते।
Here we can make one space. सर्वबोधान् प्रति उपपद समास सर्वबोधान् प्रति आत्मा बुध्यते कर्मणि प्रयोगः। सर्वे प्रत्ययाः विषये भवन्ति कस्य आत्मनः परात्मा. All the pratyas becomes objectified. All the pratyas are objectified for whom? The Atma. Therefore, with regard to all the pratyaya, Atma is buddhyate, nyayate, viditam bhavati, vijnatam bhavati, matam bhavati, iti. Sarva pratyadarshi,
सर्वप्रत्यय
chichakti swarupa matraha,
चिच्चक्ति स्वरूपमा
स्वरूपमात्रः
प्रत्ययैः एव प्रत्ययेषु अविशिष्टतया लक्ष्यते.
प्रत्यये एव
तेजस्यो
प्रत्ययेषु
विशिष्टतया
अविशिष्टतया लक्ष्यते।
न अन्यत् द्वारम् आत्मनः विज्ञानाय.
न अन्यत् द्वारम् आत्मनः विज्ञानाय।
द्वारम् इस् साधनम्, अन्यत् साधनं न अस्ति आत्मनः ज्ञानार्थम्. प्रत्ययेषु अविशिष्टतया, that which doesn't vary, pratyaya varies. What about Sakshi Chaitanyam? Sarva Pratyadarshi. Na, it doesn't vary. Avishištataya vartate. अतः प्रत्यगात्मतया विदितं ब्रह्म यदा
अतः
प्रत्यगात्मतया विदितं ब्रह्म यदा
तदा तन्मतं तत् सम्यक् दर्शनम् इत्यर्थः.
तदा
तदा तद्मतं तत् सम्यक् दर्शनम् इत्यर्थः।
This is what pratibodha viditam matam. The saramsha, the essence of the mantra is just paraphrasing this line. प्रत्ययेषु प्रत्यगात्मतया ब्रह्म विदितं भवति। यदा विदितं भवति तदा एव ब्रह्म सम्यक् विदितं ज्ञातम् इत्यर्थः। प्रतिबोध विदितं मतम्। Pratyaya is a proof. We don't need any other proof. Thoughts are the proof. Thoughts are there, therefore Atma is. At- Thoughts are not there, then Atma is not known. Atma is. To recognize the Atma, thoughts are the Upadhi, through which the Atma manifests. Atma is recognized. So therefore Matam Bhavati Samvik Darshanam Bhavati. Sarva Pratyay Darshitve cha
सर्वप्रत्ययदर्शित्वे
च
Upajanana Apaya Varjita Drik Swarupatha
उपजन
उपजनन अपाय वर्जित दृक् स्वरूपता
Nityatvam Vishuddha Swarupatvam
नित्यत्वं
नित्यत्वं विशुद्ध स्वरूपत्वं
Atmatvam Nirvisheshata
आत्मत्वं निर्विशेषता
Ekatvam cha sarvabhuteshu siddham bhavet.
एकत्वं
एकत्वं च सर्वभूतेषु सिद्धं भवेत्
It is Alupta Drika. It is Nityaha, Nitya Shuddha Mukta, Bodha Swarupaha, Sarveshu Bhuteshu, Ekatvam Siddham Bhavet, Sarva Pratyay Darshitve Sati. Lakshana, we have to continue. Lakshana Beda Abhavat,
लक्षण भेद अभावात्
Vyomnaha iva Gatagiri Guhadishu.
व्योम्नहैव घटगिरिगुहादिषु
गुहादिषु
This should be read along with this line. The danda is not required. There is no stoppage here. Lakshana Beda Bhava, there is no difference. Differences in the Atma Sakshi Chaitanyam is not there. Like the Akasha, in Akasha we don't see differences. There is no difference in Akasha. Space is one. Tadvat Atma api ekaha eva. Therefore, ekatvam vishuddha swarupatvam nirvisheshatvam, that is nirgunatvam. Sarvabhuteshu ekaha eva Atma iti vyomnaha eva siddham bhavati. Vidita viditabhyam anyat brahma iti agama vakyartaha.
विदिता अविदिता
विदिताभ्युमन्यते ब्रह्म इत्यागमवाक्यार्थः
Vidita vidita not. Vidita vidita illa. Vidita avidita or vidita viditabhyam. Vidita viditabhyam anyat. एवं परिशुद्धः एव उपसंहृतः भवति.
एवं
एवं परिशुद्धः एव उपसंहृतः भवति
Therefore it is concluded. Viditat anyat aviditat anyat iti agamavathyartah. It is samhritah, upasamhritah, parishuddhah. It is parishuddhah means there is no confusion. It is well clarified. Upasamhritah. दृष्टेः द्रष्टा श्रुतेः श्रोता वन्तेः वन्ता विज्ञातेः विज्ञाता इति हि श्रुत्यन्तरम्.
दृष्टेः
दृष्टेः द्रष्टा श्रुतेः श्रोता मतेर्मन्ता विज्ञातेः विज्ञाता इति हि श्रुत्यन्तरम्
Bhashikara aptly quotes here, and also the first khanda, the Shrotrasya Shotram Manaso Manaha, the same. It is the Bhashikara by quoting from Kena Upanishad, the aptly at the right place. Vidita Viditabhyam Manyat Drashtehe Drashta Vijñatehe Vijñata Matehe Manta iti. Then comes the Ekadeshi Mata Yada Punaha
यदा पुनः
Bodhakriya Karta iti Bodhakriya Lakshanena
बोधक्रिया कर्ता इति बोधक्रियालक्षणेन
तत्कर्तारं विजानाति इति
तत्कर्ता विजानाति इति
बोधलक्षेण विदितं प्रतिबोधविदितम् इति व्याख्यायते.
बोधलक्षणेन विदितं प्रतिबोधविदितम् इति व्याख्यायते
यथा यः वृक्षशाखाश्चालयति सः वायुः इति तद्वत्
यथा
यथा यः वृक्षश्चाकाश्चालयति सः वायुः इति तद्वत्
तदा बोधक्रिया शक्तिमान् आत्मा द्रव्यम्.
तदा बोधक्रियाशक्तिमान् आत्मा द्रव्यम्
न बोधस्वरूपः एव
न
न
बोध
बोधस्वरूपः एव
बोधस्तु जायते विनश्यति च
बोधस्
बोधस्तु जायते विनश्यति च
यदा बोधः जायते तदा बोधक्रियया सविशेषः
यदा
यदा बोधः जायते तदा बोधक्रियया सविशेषः
यदा बोधः नश्यति तदा नष्टबोधः
यदा
यदा बोधः नश्यति तदा नष्टबोधः
तत्रैवं सति विक्रियात्मकः
द्रव्यमात्रं
स्वद्रव्यमात्रं निर्विशेषः
द्रव्यमात्रं निर्विशेषः
तत्रैवं सति
तत्रैवं सति
विक्रियात्मकः सावयवः अनित्यः अशुद्धः इत्यादयः दोषाः
क्रियात्मकः सावयव अनित्यः अनुशुद्धः इत्यादयः दोषाः
न परिहर्तुं शक्यन्ते
न
न परिहर्तुं शक्यन्ते
The bracket shows the contention of the ekadeshinaha matam. Then one line is enough to dismiss the bodhakriya karta lakshyate. Ita drishtanta he says, ita vriksha shakayaha chalanam. That is chalayita is the vayu. Tadvat, therefore bodhakriya shaktiman atma dravyam. It is a substance. That's the bodha swarupaha, pratibodha viditam matam. That we comment like this, and it is dravyam. Bodhaha jayate, bodhaha vinashyati. Thoughts arise, bodha pratyaha arises, and then it vanishes, goes away. When bodha arises, then atma, the dravya is, by bodha kriya, is said to be endowed with attributes. When bodha kriya are not there, nashyati, nashtabodhaha atma, then becomes nirvisheshaha. That itself is problem. A thing cannot be savishesha, nirvishesha. If it is nirvishesha, then it cannot be savishesha. If it is a savishesha, then it cannot be nirvishesha. That is a big dosha itself. But Pashakara doesn't say that. He just says, okay, fine. It means your Atma Dravya is Vikriyatmaka. Then that contradicts what the Shruti says. Vikriyatmaka implies that it must be having parts. Because it has parts, therefore it's subject to disintegration, subject to time, anityaha. And therefore it must be ashuddhaha. All these doshas, how are you going to avoid? Therefore your mata is dismissed. Simple. By Bhashya, by repeated reading, it becomes so easy to grasp the meaning. Like as we read in translations in English. Then Kanada Mata, Vaisheshika Mata. Yadapi Kanadanam
यदपि काणादानाम्
Atma Manas Sanyogajaha Bodhaha
आत्ममनः संयोगजो बोधः
Atmani Samavaiti
आत्मनि समवैति
Atma Manas Sanyoga Jayate Bodhaha Atmani Samaviti. It inheres in Atma, that Bodha, because of the contact of the, what contact? It is not Sansarga, it is, there are different types of Sambandha, Samavaya Sambandha. Because of Sambandha and Atma raises this Bodha, that is their contention. Therefore, Ataha Atmani Bodhritvam
अतः आत्मनि बोधृत्वम्
Natu Vikriyatmakaha Atma
न तु
न तु विक्रियात्मकः आत्मा
Dravya Matrastu Bhavati
द्रव्यमात्र
द्रव्यमात्रस्तु भवति
Gata Iva Raga Samavayi.
घट
घट इव रागसमवायी
The color and the gata, the pot is painted with some color. What type of sambandha? It is not samsarga sambandha. It is not that like a pot which is placed on a table, not contact between the surface. It is samavaya sambandha. Like that Atma is Atma Mana Sanyogajaha is there because of the paint. Does the Swarupa of Gata changes? No. Similarly, Atma also, Atmana Swarupam also doesn't change. It means Atma is not Vikriyatmakaha. So therefore, he says Ekadeshi Mata is false. But our Mata is correct because Atma is not Vikriyatmaka, doesn't undergo any change. But it is Dravyam, Dravyamatastu. It is their contention. But in this contention also we have dosha. Pashikara points out what is dosha. Asmin pakshe api
अस्मिन्
अस्मिन् पक्षे अपि
achetanam dravyamatram brahmagiti
अचेत्
अचेतनं द्रव्यमात्रं ब्रह्म इति
vijnanamanandam brahma vijnanam brahma ityadhyaha shrutayah
विज्ञानम्
विज्ञानम् आनन्दं ब्रह्म विज्ञानं ब्रह्म इत्याद्याः श्रुतयः बाधाः
baditaha syuhu.
बाधिताः स्युः.
All the statements of the Shruti stand dismissed if Atma is Dravya. Shruti says it is Atma is Anandam Brahma Vijnanam, it is Chaitanyam. Therefore, Shruti statement stands dismissed if we accept Atma is Dravya. And also further he points out other doshas. Atmanaha Niravayavattvena
आत्मनः
आत्मनः निरवयवत्वेन
Pradesha Bhavat
प्रदेश
प्रदेश अभावात्
Nitya Sanyuktatvacha Manasaha
नित्यसंयुक्त
नित्यसंयुक्तत्वाच्च मनसः
Smriti Utpatti Niyama Anupapattihi Apariharya Syat
स्मृति उत्पत्तिः
पति नियम अनुपपत्तिः अपरिहार्य स्यात्
Apariharya Syat
अपरिहार्य
अपरिहार्या स्यात्.
Rudatu Nyat Ruhaloho Nyat Arya, the Trilinga, because of Anupapattihi. Atma is Niravayava. Atmanaha Niravayatmena. Atma being Niravaya. Niravayavattvena. Itambhute Tritiya. Atmanaha Niravayavattvena. Pradesha Abhava. There is no Pradesha. There is no place of contact. Specific place of contact. Therefore, Nitya Sanyuktatva Manasaha. We saw in fact elaborately this Spinkara the Mata. Not in detail, but some idea. So it will be having contact with Manas. So all the time the Smriti will be there. All the time Smriti. And according to them, Pratyaksha Jnanam and Smriti Jnanam do not rise at the same time. That becomes contradicted. That dosha, you cannot avoid it. Whenever the Smriti, Pratyaksha Jnana Utpatti is there, that Smriti Utpatti also will be there because Atma is having contact with Manas all the time. So this dosha will be there. Therefore, that dosha apariharya sya, that cannot be avoided. So defeating there in their own territory. So Bhashikara does that. Samsarga dharmitvam cha atmanaha.
संसर्ग
धर्मित्वं च आत्मनः
Shruti smriti nyaya viruddham kalpitam syat.
श्रुति
श्रुतिस्मृति न्यायविरुद्धं कल्पितं स्यात्.
Katam, that Bhashikara says. So samsarga dharmi, atma is samsarga dharmi. Dharmaha se asti iti dharmi. The status of being a dharmi, what dharmi samsarga, then it is contradicts Shruti, Smriti as well as Nyaya. Shruti, asango nahi sajjate,
असङ्गो न हि सज्जते
asaktam sarvabhrit iti hi Shruti Smriti.
आसक्तं
असक्तं सर्वभृत् इति हि श्रुतिस्मृति.
So Shruti says asangaha, atma is asangaha, then where is samsarga? Samsarga is contact. Atma is asangaha. Asangaha atma, how can it have samsarga? Contact. If it is samsarga, then it cannot be asangaha. But samsarga, then all doshas will creep in. Therefore, it cannot be. That is Shruti quote from Kena Upanishad. And from Gita also, asaktam sarvavrichaiva nirgunam gunabhoktracha sarvendriya gunabhasam sarvendriya vivarjitam. That is the first line. So, therefore, quoting from Gita also. Shruti Smriti. The Smriti 1, 2. Matihi mati. Itra danda samasa. Shruti cha smritihi cha shruti smriti. Then nyayascha
न्यायश्च
gunavat gunavata samsrijyate.
गुणवत्
गुणवत्
गुणवत्ता
गुणवता संसृज्यते
Karmani prayoga. Na atulya jatiyam.
न
न
अतुल्यं
अतुल्यजातीयम्
Gunavat gunavan. Tapum sakalinga. Therefore gunavat gunavati gunavanti. Like jagat shabda. Gunavat gunavata samsrijyate will combine with another thing which is endowed with guna. The thing which is endowed with guna will have samsarga, will have contact, will have association with another thing which is endowed with guna. Atu atulya jatiyam. So therefore samana jatiyena saha eva this samsargaha sambhavati, sangaha sambhavati. Atu atulya jatiyena. Atma is nirgunam nirvishesham. How can it have contact association with atulya jati manasaha? Not possible. It is nyaya viruddham. That says. Ataha nirgunam nirvishesham sarva vilakshanam.
अतः निर्गुणं निर्विशेषं सर्वविलक्षणं
Kenachit kenachidapi
केनचिदपि
atulya jatiyena samsrijyate.
अतुल्य
अतुल्यजातीयेन संसृज्यते
Iti etat nyaya viruddham bhavet.
इति
इति एतत् न्यायविरुद्धं भवेत्
Bhavet bhavati. He uses ling lakara. The note. So Atma being nirguna nirvishesha sarva vilakshanam. Therefore, how can kenachitapi atulya jatiyena some sargaha is against the logic. When it is nirgunam nirvishesham, gunavata gunavata eva samsujyate. Atma is nirgunam. Nirgunam brahma gunavata samsujyate. It is against the logic. But we say yes, it's possible. Our logic is that samsargaha, the samsujyate, we say, how do we say? That samsargaha is mithya samsargaha. Then it is possible. Mithya samsargaha is possible. Satya samsarga is not possible. Any amount of mithya samsarga, we can accommodate, no problem, because mithya, nirgunam brahma can have association with any number of mithya upadhis. Upadhi being mithya. But if you say nirgunam brahma, atma will have real association with another thing, then it's a problem. If the association is real, atma is real, then another thing is also real. It's against logic and it is against against the Shruti also. Shruti Smriti already said. That's logic only here. Gunavata samsrujyate. That is acceptable, understandable. Atma being nirgunam, nirvishesha. Therefore, how can it have association with atulya jati? Not possible. Nyaya viruddha. Therefore, the tasmat
तस्मात्
इत्यलुप्त विज्ञान स्वरूप ज्योतिः आत्मा ब्रह्म इत्यर्थः.
नित्य अलुप्त ज्ञान स्वरूप ज्योतिः आत्मा ब्रह्म इति इयम् अर्थः
इत्ययम् अर्थः. सर्वबोध बोधृत्वे
सर्वबोधबोधृत्वे
आत्मनः सिद्ध्यति न अन्यथा.
आत्मनः सिद्ध्यति न अन्यत्
अन्यथा
तस्मात् प्रतिबोध विदितं मतम् इति.
तस्मात्
तस्मात् प्रतिबोधविदितं
प्रतिबोधि
मतमिति
यथा व्याख्यातः एव अर्थः अस्माभिः.
यथा
यथा व्याख्यात एव अर्थः अस्माभिः
Bhashyakara silently says Atma Brahma iti evam artha. Because sarvabhuteshu ekatvam siddham iti uktam. Therefore, Nitya Alupta Vijnana Swarupa Jyotihi. Nitya Alupta Drik. And it is of the nature of Chaitanyam. Therefore, Atma, that Atma is Brahma eva iti ayam artaha. Sarva Bodha Bodhrutve. It is the Bodha of all the Bodhas. The knower of all the Pratyas. Therefore, it is Chaitanyam. That Atma Chaitanyam is Brahma iti. Atmanaha Siddhyati. There is no other way to know it. Bodham Bodham Prati Viditam. Therefore, what we commented, that is the Artha. That Artha alone we can take. What is that we comment? Pratibodha Viditam Matam. Pratyayeshu Pratyekatmataya Atma Lakshyate. That is what, therefore, that ever Atma, the Brahma Samyik Viditam Bhavati. Pratyayeshu Visishtataya Atma Brahma Jnatam Bhavati Tadeva Samyik Darshanam iti. We saw the line. That is the Artaha, that is the Vyakyataha Artaha Asmabhi by us. Then comes again the Ekadeshi. He raises another Ekadeshi. You can take it as another Ekadeshi. His Vada is Swa Samvedyatva Vada. Swa Samvedyata. Swa Samvedyatvam. Atma knows by itself. Sampurvaka Vidadatu Yat Pratyaya Samvedya. Swa is oneself. The status of being, that is Tasya Bhavaha Tvatalotta. So Swasamvedyatvam. Swasamvedyatva Vada. That is, we are going to dismiss. Why this certain now Ekadeshi? Because the next mata is Bauddha Paksha Kandanam. This Bauddha mata also, Buddhist, they also accept this Swasamvedyatva Vada. Atma knows itself by itself. So therefore, by dismissing Ekadeshi, Bauddha Pakshas, that view also can be dismissed. Therefore, Ekadeshi is introduced now, that view. I think from here we have to do. Let us read. Yat punaha
Yat punaha
swasamvedyata
swasamvedita
Samvedyata
pratibodha viditam iti asya vakyasya arthaha
pratibodh
Pratibodha Viditam iti asya vakyasya arthaha
varnyate
varnyat
varnyate
tatra bhavati
tatra
tatra bhavati
sopadikatve atmanaha
sopad
sopadhikatve atmanaha
buddhya buddhi upadhi swarupatvena
buddhi
buddhi
upadhi
upadhi swarupatvena
vedam parikalpya
ved
भेदं परिकल्प्य
atmana atmanam veti iti
atmana
आत्मना आत्मानं वेत्ति इति
samvivaharaha.
sam
संव्यवहारः.
The view of Ekadeshi is presented punaha again. Yat Ekadeshinaha yat matam kim tat sva samvedyata. The status of being that Atma is known. Vididatu, vid is to know. Atma is known. Vedya. So Atma is the object. Who is the subject? Subject also Atma only. So Atma is known by itself. That is, Atma knows itself. Vidya yat. Yat pratyaya kritya. Kritya denotes karma. Right? We have seen krityaha. So Atma is known. Atma is the object. The object of knowing. Who knows the Atma? The knower also is Atma only. The first subject of Atma knows the object Atma. That's what Swasamvedyatva Vada. Subject also Atma, object also Atma. It looks nice. Advaitam here also, subject, object. But is it valid? It is not valid. Iti vakyasya artaha varnyate is the meaning of this sentence. This is how we explain the pratibodha viditam shruti vakya. Pratibodha viditam, we explain. That is pratibodha viditam, the Chaitanyam, consciousness, knows itself, consciousness. Consciousness is known by consciousness. The status of being, the status of consciousness being known by consciousness. That is Swasamvedyatva Vada. Swasamvedyata Vada, Swasamvedyatva Vada, whatever it is. This is the Vada. Iti Varnyate. The Pratibodha Viditam, this is how we interpret. Ekadeshi says. Fine. Then it means the Atma is the subject, Atma is the object. This, but this seems to be correct only. Why not? Because we have statements like Atmanam, Atmani, Atmanam Pashyati, Atmaneva Santushtaha, Atmani Eva Santushtaha in Gita and all. We come across in Chitapragya Lakshana, Atmanyeva Atmana Tushtaha, Chitapragya Sadojyate, Tada Uchyate. So there also we find many places statements like that. So seems to be, if you take it like that, then superficially it is same, but it is not. That is, Atma is known by Atma. If we take, or if we take the the Gita statement, Gita Vakya, Atmanyeva Atmana Tushtaha. There, what is this two Atma? Atma Atmanam, Atma Atmanam Veti. Atma knows Atma. We use such expressions even when we explain Gita, or when we use such expressions when we explain the statements of the Shruti. Atma Atmanam Veti. Atmani Eva Atmana Tushtaha. Uddaret Atmana Atmanam. That also is the such a statement in the Shruti and Smriti. So what does it mean? There, Atmani Eva Atmana Tushtaha. Suppose if we take that Vakya, in Atma, Atmana, Atmani Saptami Vibhakti. That referring to Sachidananda Atma. Atmana referring to Buddhi Upadi. Atmana Atmani Santushtaha. The person is happy with himself, by himself. With himself, that is Swarupatma. By himself is Buddhi Upadi. So it means there is Buddhi Upadi. That is Buddhi Upadi, Atma. With the Buddhi Upadi is referred to by the word Atma. That is how the statements are in the Gita as well as in the Shruti. Not both Atmas are Sachidananda Atma. There in Atmani, Atmana, Tushtaha, Atmani, Saptami, Adhikarana Karaka, Atmana, it is Tritiya. It is Karana. Not all the Karakas, Atma cannot be. In fact, all the Karakas are negated. Karaka Upamardhanam, Brahmarpanam, Brahmavihi, the shloka we saw. So Atmana, when we say Atma with the Buddhi Upadi, that is also referred to by the word Atma only. Therefore, it is Sopadika. Sopadika means Upadina Saha Vartate Saha Sopadika Atma. So therefore, Atma knows by itself, Atma knows itself by itself that expression, that explanation is valid only when we talk about the Sopadika Atma. Such explanation will be valid only with regard to the description of Sopadika Atma, Sopadikatva, Sopadika Atmani Vishay, Atma Vishaye, that is valid, but not in the Nirupadika Atma. Nirupadika is, there is no Upadi. Upadi Ragita Atma. Now, the Sopadika Atma, the subject matter of the Shastram, and Nirupadika Atma is Kena Upanishad here. The subject matter of the Kena Upanishad here is Sopadika Atma, Nirupadika Atma. It is not Sopadika Atma, it is Nirupadika Atma. Upanishad here doesn't talk about Sopadika Atma. Sopadika Atma is what we see here. We don't recognize the Atma. That's the problem. Upadi is Mithya. Therefore, Upadi dismissing Upadya. Therefore, what is that is only in fact Atma alone. Atma is ever without Upadi only. That Upadi is attributed to Atma, that is Mithya Upadi. Therefore, that is Mithya Upadi, Mithya Vyavahara, all are Mithya only. Mithya is not counted. Mithya is Mithya, no, it's not real. Therefore, the Upanishad presents Nirupadika Atma. That's why Sarvam Khalu Idam Brahma. When everything is Brahma, when Jagat Sarvam Idam Brahma, when Shruti says, doesn't give reality to Jagat because it is Mithya. Therefore, Nirupadika Atma is what the Shruti talks about, not Sopadika Atma. Therefore, Atma knows itself by itself. That is valid only in the context of Sopadika Atma, not in the context of Nirupadika Atma. And Sopadika Atma is not the subject matter of the Upanishad, it's not the subject matter of the Shastra. It cannot be, need not be also. So therefore, that being so, and here will Sopadika Atma be the topic? Not possible. So therefore, since Nirupadika is a subject matter, Tatra bhavati Sopadikatve Atmanaha Buddhi Upadi Swarupatvena Bedam Parikalpya Atmana Atmanam Vetiva Samvyavaharaha. Since Sopadika Atma is not the topic of the Upanishad here, why we say Sopadi? Why not? See, we have if we have this Karta and Karma, all the other Karakas. Now let us take Karta and Karma. Atma Atmanam Veti. That part we take. Atmana Atmanam Veti. Atmana Atmanam Veti. Or Atma Atmanam Veti. Atma Atmanam Veti. Suppose we take Atma Atmanam Veti. Atma is Sopadika Atma. Or Atmana Atmanam Veti. Anyway, both are fine. Atmanam Veti is Sachidananda Atma. I'm just changing the Atmana Atmanam Veti into Atma Atmanam Veti. Because that is a Swasamvedyatva Vada. Atma Atmanam Veti. Consciousness knows itself, knows consciousness. There, if we take Atma Atmanam Veti, Atma is the subject and the object is Atma. So, the subject and the object, the subject, the Karta, and the object, Karma, they cannot be identical, the same situation, not possible. One is Drashta, other one is Drishya. So, Drashta is always different from the Drishya. Drashta and Drishya. Drishya is what is seen. Drashta, the seer. The seer is there and the seen will be different from the seer. The seer and the seen cannot be same. The seer, the karta, and the seen, the karma, that is subject, object, they cannot be same. If it is same, then it is virodha. Like how can the eyes, the seer, can see the object, the eyes, object also eyes seeing the eyes, not possible. Eyes can see other than itself. Eyes can see the forms, eyes can see the colors, but eyes cannot see itself. Eyes, the drashta, cannot be drishya for itself. Why? Kartru, karma, virodha. That is the law, basic law it is. The see, therefore, for a knowledge to happen, the seer and the seen must be different. Drashta, the drik, cannot be drishyam. So both have to be different. You cannot climb on your own shoulder, not possible. So therefore, subject object have to be different. But interesting is that, see, we say the drashta and the drishya are different. So when a person snores, all the people who sleeps the same room along with him, they are disturbed. But the person who snores is not disturbed by himself. He is also having ears. Everybody hears the snoring so loud. All the people gets disturbed. But what about the person who sleeps? Why he doesn't get disturbed? Uh, the drashta cannot be drishya. He also has got the ears. Does his snoring disturbs himself? He will have dosha. This is if then we'll have chakraka dosha. The person snores and disturbs himself. Therefore, he cannot sleep. If he goes to sleep, he will snore and he will hear the snoring. He cannot sleep, but he has to sleep. So Bhagavan has beautifully done. Other people will hear the snoring, but this person will not. Other person can see your eyes, but you cannot see your eyes. Other people can climb on your shoulder, but you cannot climb on your shoulder. That is how it is. The drik and drishya has to be different. So drashta cannot be drishya. But this drashta and drishya, in some cases it is possible. See, drashta, drishya, therefore we say cannot be same, it should be different. Cannot be same, it should be different. Therefore, Atma, Atmanaveti, it's not possible, we say. But some cases, some cases, the Swasamvedyatva is possible. Where it is possible, I can beat myself. Why not? I can beat. Here the karta is myself. An object of beating, that is also myself. Self-beating, self-torture. Why not? The person, he burns himself. So the person who burns is a karta. He burns himself. He eats himself. You can eat your own body. That is possible when the entity has got avayava. When the entity has got avayava, it is possible. So I can beat myself means I beat the body, which is myself, and the body is made of parts. The body is made of parts, hand, shoulder, legs, everything is there. Therefore, because of the upadhi, there is the transaction between me and the upadhi. Possible. Avayava is there. Therefore, kartar karma virodha is not there in the case of upadhi. In the case of avayava, if avayava is there, then kartar karma virodha is not there. Therefore, savayava vishaye, kartar karma virodha not there. Niravayava vishaye, nirupadika atmani vishaye, kartar karma virodha is there. Atma being niravayava, doesn't have parts. Then how can it be a karta as well as karma for itself? Not possible. In fact, this idea we saw in Panchadashi also. Panchadashi recently, karta karma virodha acha bhavaha iti one place we saw. It's a beautiful point. On Hetu, the author gave. I remember, I think I marked that line. Yes. So this shloka, yena edam janate sarvam tat kena anyena janatam vijnadaram kena vidyat shaktam vedyetu sadhanam. Sadhanam, the word sadhanam means antakarnaviti we saw. Sadhanam vedye shaktam bhavet. Jnatavya vishaye, the God vishayas, Atma, the antakarnam is capable. But with regard to Atma, Jnatari, Atmani vishaye antakarnam samartam na bhavati. Eva vacha na manasa ityadi shrutehe swasyapi gneyatve, in knowing itself, because Shruti says vacha na manasa na atmanaha at neva vacha na manasa. Atma cannot be known by speech. It cannot be known by mind. Swasyapi gneyatve, can it know by itself? Kartar karma virodha cha iti bhavaha. It cannot be karta, it cannot be the karma. It means it cannot be drashta, that Atma cannot be the drishya. The same thing cannot be karta and karma. That is against the rule, against the law. So drashta has to be different from the drishya. Then only it is possible. Karta karma virodhacha. But in the case of Sopadika, it is possible, because Sopadika, when we say there is the manifestation of Atma with the Upadhi. Upadhi is endowed with the parts. So Savayava is there. That Karta Karma Virodha is not there. But in the case of Nirupadika Atma, that is not possible. Because Nirupadika, when we say there is no Upadhi, therefore there is no Avayava, there are no parts. That is why Sopadika Atma, that is why such expressions are there. Atmana, Atmanam, Atmana, Atmanam, Vedya, Atmana, Atmanam, Veti, Uddared Atmana, Atmanam. What is Uddared Atmana, Atmanam in Gita, 6th chapter? You lift yourself by yourself. How will you lift yourself by yourself? It's not physically lifting. May you lift yourself by yourself. There it is Sopadika is talked about. Then only lifting yourself by lifting is possible. You cannot lift Nirupadika Atma by itself, because it is without Upadhi. Uddaret Atmana Atmanam na Atmanam avasadit. Atmaiva Atmana bandhu. Atmaiva rupo Atmanaha. That their Atma is Antakarnam is talked about. Manaha Buddhihi. So let the Antakarnam be friend to yourself. Let the Antakarnam be the friend to the Jiva for its growth. Let the Antakarnam be not inimical to oneself. So may you lift oneself, you have to lift yourself by yourself, means to Buddhi Upadhi, the Jiva has to be lifted up spiritually. That is the meaning. So Buddhi Upadhi, it is possible, Karta Karma, there Virodha not there. But in Sopadika Vishaya, it is not possible. Therefore is here, Vashikara says, Atma is Nirupadika, therefore Samvedyatvavada is not possible. But we have expressions like Atmana, Atmana Beti, Shastra also says there, then how do we account for that? There it is Tatra Bhavati Sopadikatvam, Sopadikatve, when Atma is associated with Upadhi. See, Atma can never associate with Upadhi. But we say associated, it is Mithya association. So Sopadikatve, when Atma is associated with Upadhi, then Buddhi Upadhi Swarupatvena Bhedam Parikalpya. Parikalpya is Adhyasta, having imagined, having superimposed. Adhyasta. The Veda, the differences on what? On the Atma. What? Buddhi. Buddhi Upadhi. having superimposed the buddhi upadi on the Atma, on the Swarupam of Atma. Therefore, now Atma is with Upadi, therefore there is division, there is Veda. One is Buddhi Upadi Atma, Buddhi Upadi Rupa Atma. Other one is Sakshi Chaitanyam. Two things are that. There we can, such expressions are possible. Atmana, Atmanam Veti, why not? That is why Samvyavahara, that such Vyavahara is possible. Atmana, Atmanam Veti. By Atma, Atma is known. Because there is a parikalpana of the buddhi upadi on the atma. Therefore, we have two things: upadi sagita atma, nirupadi ka atma. So, therefore, there some vyavahara is possible. That's what here the Bhashyakara says. Some vyavahara is possible. So, even though his atma is nirupadika, swasamvedyatvam not there, but sopadika atma can have Visvasamvedyatvam. So Swasamvedyatvam is not for Nirupadika, for Sopadika. Because there is Sambandha. In Nirupadika, there is no Sambandha. Nirupadika Atma associated with Upadi becomes that association, the Sambandha is Adyasika Sambandha. It is Parikalpa. The Sambandha is superimposed. Then Swasamvedyata is possible in Vivahara. When you say Swapadika, it means it is Upadi. Upadi means it is Avayava. Therefore, the Sakshi Chaitanyam illumines Buddhi Upadi, Sharira Upadi. Chaitanyam Atma being there, Nirupadika, it illumines Buddhi Upadi, Sharira Upadi, Upadi Sagitam Bhavati. So, Nirupadika Atma and Swapadika Atma. Then such expressions can possible. I know myself. Samvyavaharaha is possible there. So, for Swasambedya, what you are referring to, it is Sopadika. With regard to Sopadika, not to Nirupadika. Nirupadika Atma is not available for Vyavahara. Why it doesn't have Avayava? Doesn't have parts. It is Nirupadika. Nirupadikatvat. Samvyavahara na sambhavati. Nirupadika Atmanaha samvyavahara na sambhavati. Sopadika Atmanaha samvyavahara sambhavati. And to corroborate that, Bhashyakara here gives the quotation from the Shruti. Atmanyevatmanam pashyati.
आत्मन्येवात्मानं पश्यति
Swayamevatmanatmanam vetatvam purushottama.
स्वयमेव
Sorry, that is from the Gita. Please read.
स्वयमेव आत्मा
Atmanatmanam vettam
You have to read in the Gita
purushottama.
meter. Swayamevatmanatmanam vetatvam purushottama. Bhutapavana bhute.
Swayameva vettatvam purushottama.
Iti.
Iti.
So, Atmani eva atmanam pashyati. Such expressions are there in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad as well as in Gita. Swayameva atmanatmanam. You yourself know yourself. How you know yourself by yourself? If it's Nirupadika, not possible. So you know yourself. Swayam. Swayam also word is Swayam Atmanam. It is Swayam oneself by oneself. Swayam eva Atmana Atmanam Veta. Atmana by Atma. Atmana is referring to Antakaranam. Atmanam Sachidananda Atma. That is Atma. Swayam eva by yourself. So Swayam eva Atmana Atmanam Veta. Such expressions are there. So there it shows Sopadika. So therefore Sopadika Atma is talked about. Not Nirupadika. Therefore Swasambedyattavada is dismissed, not possible for Nirupadika Atma. Natu Nirupadikasya Atmanaha
न तु निरुपाधिकस्य आत्मनः
Ekatve
एकत्वे
Ekatve
Swasamvedyata Parasamvedyata va Sambhavati.
Swasamvedyata parasamvedyata va sambhavati.
Therefore Nirupadikasya Atmanaha Ekatve Sati. Ekatvam oneness is there for Nirupadika Atma. Oneness means there are no differences. In Swapadika Atma, there are differences. In Swapadika, we have differences, Sajatiya Veda, Vijatiya Veda, Swakata Veda. What about in Nirupadika Atma? There are no differences. Veda Ragitam, Swapadikam, Atma. No divisions are there. Therefore, Nirupadikasya Atmanaha Ekatve Sati. Ekatva, since there is Ekatvam, oneness, meaning there are no divisions, no Veda. Therefore, Swasamvedyata or Parasamvedyata was Sambhavati. Knowing itself by itself or knowing by something other one is not possible. Swasamvedyata, knowing itself is not possible. Because knowing itself or that Upadhi is required, but in Nirupadhi, Nirupadika Atma. Therefore, that is ruled out. What about Parasamvedyata, Parena, Anyena Samvedyata, the status of being known by others, that is also is not possible. Because there is nothing other than Atma. So, with regard to Swapadika Atma, Atma cannot objectify itself. And Parasamvedyata, knowing itself by other, that is also is not possible. Why? Because Atma is in the form of Chaitanyam. Therefore, Parasamvedya, that is second thing, that also has to be Atma only. In fact, it is not there, supposing. The Swatsamvedyata itself is not possible. Parasamvedyata also not possible. Samvedana Swarupatvat.
संवेदन स्वरूप
Samvedanantara Apeksha cha na sambhavati.
संवेद
संवेदनान्तरापेक्षा च न सम्भवति.
Samvedana Surupatva Vedanam. Vedanam means Chaitanyam, knowledge. Vedanam. Vidadatu Lyutpartaya. Samvedanam, knowledge. Chaitanyam, consciousness. Atma being of the nature of Samvedana, of the nature of consciousness. Therefore, Samvedanantara, another, Anya Samvedanam, there is no expectation of another consciousness, another Chaitanyam, another knowledge. Therefore, Parasamvedyata, this line dismisses Parasamvedyata. There is no expectation of another Chaitanyam. That is not possible. Atma is self-evident, being of the nature of consciousness, knowledge. Therefore, Samvedanantara Apeksha, Nacha Sambhavati, not possible. The expectation of another consciousness is not possible because it being of the nature of Chaitanyam. Another Chaitanyam to illuminate. If we require another light to illumine the sun, sunlight is itself illumines everything. To see sunlight, what light is required? Tadvata atrapi. And he gives a last sentence that also is complete. Yata prakashasya
यथा प्रकाशस्य
prakashantar apekshayaha na sambhavaha tadvat.
प्रकाशान्
प्रकाशान्तर अपेक्षायाः न सम्भवः तद्वत्.
This is what I said. Sunlight need not be or cannot be illumined by another light. Prakasha, light. Does it have apeksha of another light for its illumination? The light itself illumines everything. You switch on the light, the dark room is illumined. What about the illumination of the light itself? Na sambhavati. Prakashantara, anya prakasha apeksha asti va prakashasya not there. There is no expectation of another light for the light to illumine. Similarly, Nirupadika Atma, which is of the nature of Chaitanyam, doesn't require another Chaitanyam for its revelation, for its illumination. Therefore, dismissed. Therefore, Swasamvedyata na sambhavati, Parasamvedyata api na sambhavati. Iti Ekadeshi Matasya Kandanam Bhashyakara Kriyate. Now then comes Bauddha Pakshasya Kandanam, that we will see in this class. Om Purnamadav Purnamidham Purnat Purnamadachyate पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ॐ। धन्यवादः।
धन्यवादः जी।